What's the most unsettling secret you've uncovered about someone you know well? I had a friend from high school who I loved so much. Loved that his favorite memory of his mother was how nice she dressed and how very pretty she was, and how much he loved hearing her heels click along the pavement when they went for walks in the city. Turns out he was a pedophile who molested his own toddler niece. He's in prison now. Fuck you, Kirk Wayne. You goddamn piece of shit waste of space human being. My aunt tried to passively kill my grandma by telling her nurse she was terminally agitated to begin the process for end-of-life care. Had her on a bunch of meds to when we visited her. It was fucked. Turned out my grandma was rich and my aunt wanted her money. Also, my aunt stole her dying boyfriend's guns while he was dying in the hospital. I hope I don't ever see any of my blood family besides my mum ever again. I would not be surprised to find out my aunt was a serial killer most her life. I found out a girl I knew in high school had 9 abortions. She used them as her backup plan. An ex told me about it. Said when the girl told her, she said it like it was nothing, laughed it off and made it seem like it was an everyday thing. It made me sick to my stomach. She passed away a few years after I heard about this. I was torn over how I felt. It hurt a lot of our mutual friends when she passed. They didn't know what I did. For me, I found out that Maya, who was 13 at the time, was raped by her uncle, my great-uncle, and had a baby in a cellar in the basement of her house. The baby didn't make it, so she and her little sister buried it there. Years later, when the aunt who had repressed those memories had a baby, she remembered it all. When her family found out, she was labeled the slut of the family. My dad's side is garbage. My mother had an estranged uncle who was secret to my immediate family. Turns out he was a sex offender who completely left our family out of his life. He was hard to find for my mother. She had to use the offenders list to find him. She never saw him since he committed the act. I only learned about this because I met his son at a family reunion, and my mother had to bring me up to the fact afterwards. The marketing brand manager at my work used to come to work with bruises all over her face and body. She would tell the HR that she had some blood-related illness, and would miss a lot of days at work too. Then I saw her getting gangbanged by James Dean and his friends on Pornhub. The video already had 8 million views, and this was in 2017. They fuck multiple guys in friend circles and secretly distance each of them from one another. And I found out this has a large citywide circuit they travel over the year. They aren't the home wrecker, but they are a friend wrecker. And they all use the secrets they amass through gossip to keep fueling their social terrorism. Someone that I was really close with being a pathological liar. I ended our friendship. I figured out he lied about having a job, having a house. He was actually homeless, and texting me pretending to be a different person so he could still be included in my life. Craziest experience of my life. A friend told me that his father disconnected his grandfather that was suffering in a hospital bed. This person was terminal, and the doctor told him, this machine is keeping your father alive. It would be a shame if it malfunctioned while I am away having lunch. I have a lot of respect for these men. I found out my supposed best friend for over 6 years was a male cross-dressing escort who had been using apps like Grindr to hook up with other guys for both money and drugs. I confronted him about it. We are no longer friends. He said I ruined our friendship because I found out what he was doing. One of my good friends and co-workers just got arrested for sex with a minor last week. None of us had any idea. But apparently he's been a registered sex offender since 2017. So this isn't the first time. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, and feel like I'm mourning the death of a friend. LOL, I found out my best friend was a cross-dresser. He freaked out when I found out, thinking I would leave our friendship. But I reassured him I love him no matter what. Now him, his girlfriend, and my wife go on outings all dressed up. Ha ha ha. One of my then friends confessed to pretending to have cancer for years. He had a cane and everything to help him walk because he had surgery in his leg and had part of his leg removed because the cancer. It was all lies. Found out an ex's dad who he was about to meet for the first time was a tier 3 sex offender. We broke up and I never got a chance to tell him. I did discreetly tell a close mutual friend. No idea how that turned out. They were theater students and are still trying to improve on their acting skills. Needless to say, most of them ghosted me after I realized the mask they were wearing in front of me 80 of the time. Lols. My great-grandmother was simultaneously married to 3 separate persons. She was getting 3 of the men's paychecks at once. They were from various branches of the military. He is a psychopath arsonist. He may have killed someone. I quit speaking with him decades ago. Motherfucker started a forest fire. I've got a friend whose pop is a serial killer. The FBI knows but doesn't have sufficient evidence to prove it in court. One of my favorite teachers in high school turned out to be a pedophile who had been raping the same boy for 5 years. I found out my ex-partner used to shoot animals with BB guns for fun with his brother. They had a score sheet. One of my best friends was caught trying to meet up with a 13-year-old and was filmed and uploaded to YouTube. I once worked with a person I knew pretty well, and one day she told me she was afraid of birds. Witnessed my now former best friend get drunk and punch her BF. He said it had happened before. Found out my girlfriend was groping the shit out of some dweeb. She's an actual freak for that. That 2 of my friends, who were both taken, were cheating on their SOs with each other. My parents actually first hooked up when my dad was 25 and my mum was 15. He raped his infant daughter and is on the run in Mexico. Psychopath.